to my channel. Thank you for clicking. Let's start greetings. My name is Daniel. I'll be your host. Your
guy in the chair.
And today we're gonna be going spooky animation. And this is the abandoned horror story house. Abandoned house, horror story, whatever. So, enjoy. Enjoy.
3 years ago, my friend John asked me to go with him to an abandoned house. It was an abandoned house that was famous in our neighborhood. Famous because it was haunted. Everyone who went into it came injured or crazy. I told John I would never go there, let alone inside, but he demanded for me to go, saying he would introduce me to a nice pretty girl I'd been wanting to get to know. Knowing that, I couldn't refuse. We went to the abandoned house, and as soon as we stepped inside, we saw a large portrait of a family. The people in the portrait were all baring their teeth like animals, and there was blood around their mouths. The painting gave me goosebumps. We kept walking around, shining the flashlight here and there. Then suddenly I heard the sound of dishes clattering from the kitchen. I was startled and pointed the flashlight in that direction, but there was no one. Plates, forks, and knives were neatly arranged on the main table. As I approached, I had noticed that there were bones on the plates. It looked as if a human skull was split into several pieces. I screamed and ran to John and told him, "Let's get out of here." But John said, "I came all this way. Allow me to give a high five to the ghost, and then we can leave. Now, let's go to the second floor." No matter how much I begged him to leave, he wouldn't listen. We went up to the second floor, and there too were many paintings hanging on the walls. They seemed to be old paintings of the family's ancestors, and their faces were distorted and creepy. They had red skin with pimply dots all over, and long fingernails. I entered the first room. As soon as I opened the door, a dark figure shouted from inside the room, "Looks delicious." And then a skeleton figure of a woman crawled towards me. I was startled, and I took a step back. Cold air hit my face, and then the woman disappeared. I thought I was hallucinating due to my extreme fear, and my body started to shake. It was then that it happened. I heard John screaming from the other room, so I ran to see what was happening. However, when I tried to open the door, it was locked. "John, open the door!" I twisted the doorknob and yelled for him to open the door, but all I could hear from behind the door was John groaning and the sound of dishes clinking and some people laughing. I slammed into the door with my whole body, but it wouldn't budge. I tried to look around for the key, but I couldn't find it. Then I heard John say something. I put my ear to the door and listened closely. "I'm ecstatic," he said. I kicked the door for a while, but no chance, so I called the police. Even if I had to face punishment, I thought I had to save John. After a while, the police arrived. They were angry at me, saying that in this house, dozens of people had died. They broke the doorknob and went inside. When the door finally opened, we were shocked by the sight of John. He was lying on a large table wearing nothing but his underwear, and there were several forks stuck into his stomach. There were plates surrounding him filled with black liquid. And John, he was muttering the same thing over and over again. "Enjoy your meal! Enjoy your meal!" We screamed, but John just continued to mutter to himself, "Please, eat this as well." He grabbed the knife and tried to stab himself in the stomach. As the officers approached and tried to rescue him, he swung at them with the knife. "I won't give you my flesh," he screamed. The police barely managed to gain control of him. He left the house on a stretcher, screaming in tremendous pain, and then fainted. He was then taken away in an ambulance. He underwent surgery at the hospital. When I visited him a few days later, he didn't even look at me, but just looked at the ceiling and smiled. Oh, that night was the best night of my life. When I entered the room, the family was skinny from prolonged hunger, but they were so beautiful that I decided to satisfy their hunger. I lay down on the table and they started eating my flesh. Seeing them happy made me so happy that I couldn't stop laughing from joy. I couldn't believe I could provide meals to such noble people. It was only then that I realized the reason I went into the house was for them. Bloody tears started to flow from his eyes, and suddenly he glared at me and shouted, "But why did you come in during mealtime? If you hadn't disturbed me, they would have eaten all of me. Take me back there. They are waiting for me." He grabbed me by the collar and demanded. The nurses and doctors came running and held him back. I was so shocked that I had no choice but to leave the hospital room. He was no longer the John I knew. I couldn't say anything. I just cried. I just kept hoping it was all just a bad dream. A few days passed after that, and I didn't have the courage to contact John again. After some time, I learned he had tried to rip out his stomach with his hands, saying he had to give the food to the family in the abandoned house. He was eventually admitted to a mental hospital. While he was in the mental hospital, he drew the faces of the family of the abandoned house. They were thin, with long teeth and fingernails. They looked more like monsters than people. Today, I often think about what it might have been that John saw. I can't even imagine. I just hope that John gets back to his old self.
Hey guys, I don't know about y'all, but they need to tear that place down. The old abandoned house. Oh, but humbug. Screw that. I don't deal with stuff. I don't go looking for it. Don't you go investigate either. You see a haunted house? I wave as I pass it by. But I don't go look. Here's nuts for eat me. I can feed the family. Nuts, but hey, if you like what you saw, don't forget to drop on them, comment down below, and then subscribe for more, and hit the notification bell to be notified every time I post a new video, and share. Bye.